Good morning, freedom lovers. Actually, good afternoon now from beautiful Sebring, Florida. Early afternoon. It's the National Baller League podcast. We are here to save our beloved country. So let's go. We are going to focus on the root of the 28th Amendment that's upcoming to be ratified very shortly. I wish it could be done yesterday, last year, but it might be tomorrow or this year or 2027, whatever it is. It's going to happen because George Washington and James Madison intended it to be so. But before we get there real quick, just a brief explanation of the 28th Amendment, kind of, exactly what it is, because we've yet to cover it in detail, how it came about, exactly what it is, and how we're going to get it enacted. We just got to stop on a bit of cultural events, modern, current events with the news that hit. I heard about it on Friday night, and coming from the finance business, literally having worked on Wall Street, I used to teach Dale Carnegie courses. I taught a Dale Carnegie course on customer service to new analysts at, I don't remember if it was Goldman Sachs. It was literally down on Wall Street, or it may have been JP Morgan. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was Goldman Sachs. We could find out who it was. But I taught customer service sessions through Dale Carnegie on Wall Street. So we have a great Wall Street story. There's a lawsuit that's been filed at the almighty JP Morgan, the House of Morgan. The lawsuit was by an underling, a man. His name was Chinrahu. Hang on a second. It was formerly, it's hard to pronounce. Chirayu Rania, last name Rana. He sued. It wasn't her boss, but she was a superior, Lorna Hadini, Hajdini. New York Court of Law. Complete, it was, Lorna made Chirayu his sex slave, according to him, over a period of months at the office, at the almighty JP Morgan. So this lawsuit is going to go into, well, who knows how it's going to progress, but that it's a bit of a look behind the curtain of Wall Street. Whatever happens in various offices, I guess in privacy, it's okay. You do what you want. But when you're in an office, no, not. But this one is the woman on the guy. It's got Wall Street. It's got weird. I mean, I'm not even going to cite, because this is a family-friendly show. I'm not even going to cite the many things. You got to read the lawsuit. It's so good. But here, this is from it specifically. Chirayu Rania says of Lorna Hadini, I was raped, sexually assaulted, harassed, and forced to do drugs by my former boss. So enough said on that. It's even better if that's possible than whatever's going on. The last time we did a podcast, we had Eric Swalwell go down. We've got Ilhan Omar stealing how many billions. Again, they're Republicrats. This is not Democrat versus Republican. It's deceptive politician versus deceptive politician. But this superseded even the Ilhan Omar case. And why isn't she in jail yet? Why hasn't she been deported from this country? How much money can you steal from our country before we pay attention and right the wrongs? But that's what we're doing here, is righting a wrong. So on to the 28th Amendment. The singular most important thing we can do as a country is to enact the 28th Amendment. So it's a topic that is at the heart, the root of everything we're doing here at AP76. It has been for more than a decade when I started this back in 2012, but now the timing is right. I don't feel like I'm pushing a rope uphill with the message. It's actually more like an oar acting as a rudder on a canoe going with the river stream. So it's a beautiful, and we've got AI agents to pull it all off now. So it's happening. So let's get to exactly what the 28th Amendment is. because, you know, I got my new New York Giants hat on today. So this is all pretty exciting. We're going to have AP76 hats, which I hope to wear soon enough. But until then, go Giants. Okay, the 20th Amendment. So what's the best place to start? James Madison. Let's start with the primary author. James Madison and George Washington were the primary authors. But James Madison was also our nation's fourth president, and he was a key contributor, of course, to our Constitution. Here's a quote from James Madison. This ambiguity as to the number of representatives is a great defect in the plan. So they left the number in the House of Representatives, 100 in the Senate, obviously executive branch, 2, president, vice president. But the House of Representatives was in the Constitution a mathematical ratio. There will be, because the population was likely to increase over time, which in fact it has since 1776, but the representation was going to increase as well with the population, so that we, the people, never lost control of our government as we have today. And these people, the Republicrats, politicians, are running this joint, not in our best interest, you and me and we the people. So that's what James Madison was talking about. The ambiguity in the number of representatives in the House is a great defect in the plan, particularly that it should not be left in the discretion of the government to diminish them. What have we done, America? We have left it to our government to diminish the number in the House of Representatives. James Madison wrote, don't do it. What have we done? Exactly what. Not only have we not enacted what they wanted, but we're doing what they said don't do. So we're here to fix that. So we're suffering exactly from that. What's the number in the House of Representatives? 435, capped in the early 1900s. Why? Why 435? Why not 390? Why not 482? It just happened to be 435 at the time. So the corrupt people in Congress, bunch of white guys. I don't know there was one woman in 1910, in the early 1900s. I don't know there was one person of color or someone of another race other than white. I believe it was a bunch of white guys, whatever. They capped it at 435 members. Our intention, the intentions of our founders, was violated back in the early 1900s. And to this day, how much do we have in debt? 39 trillion. To this day, we suffer because of that action back then. We had zero debt back then. In fact, there's a number of things that happened in 1913. That's another topic for another time. So to stay focused on what will be the 28th Amendment, what James Madison proposed was called Article the First. James Madison and George Washington, all of our founding mothers and fathers, bless their souls, were very tired. They just wanted to go home after they passed the Constitution. And they agreed when they came back for the first group meeting that they would address the Bill of Rights, what became the Bill of Rights. There was 12 fundamental proposals that they gave. Number one, Article the First, was addressing this problem of representation, the ratio of representation to population to politician in the House. It was Article the First to fix this problem. George Washington and James Madison fretted about it. George Washington actually changed. You can see the smudge on the paper version of the Constitution. Originally, it was 40,000 to 1. You can see the smudge where he changed it to 30,000 to reduce, to have a greater representation for we the people. So that was the bottom, the low side. To create the high side of the collar, that was Article the First. So at the time, we didn't even have population that 1 to 30,000 was a concern. But they sensed that the country was going to grow if we followed what they suggested, which we're not until we implement this. So the idea with Article the First was to put the high side of the collar on it. So Madison proposed this, that it would have the other side of the equation, Federalist Papers. The Federalist Papers, I put it back up there. Actually, the Federalist Paper book is right there. Federalist Papers 55 to 58. Open them up. Check out John Jay, James Madison, I don't know, whoever. I think three people were primary authors of the Federalist Papers. 55 to 58 was all about this number. We need to bring that back into the public discourse in America. Why did we not do what the founders said? 3 separate Federalist Papers debated it. It's definitive. There's no question on what it is. The only question is what happened with one word when Article the First was written. Periodically, the census was created for this exclusive purpose, to periodically adjust the size of the House of Representatives so that we, the people, stay represented. Do we do that anymore? No. We do a census, but it's for complete political exploitation. It has nothing to do with rewriting the number in the House of Representatives. It's for all sorts of political crap so we can do what? Spend more money. It might be at $40 trillion today, our national debt. We know it's not going to go down ever because politicians won't do that. We're doing this, we the people. We are going to right this wrong. So what happened specifically? Why did it not get passed? Why did numbers 2 through 12 get passed and become our Bill of Rights? Why did what was Article the First, having to do with representation in the House, and Article the Second, why did those two not get passed? Well, we're focusing on the first, why it didn't get passed. The original intended article on September 21st, 1789, it's a beautiful little piece of prose. It's basically a mathematical formula in Old English. It's fascinating. But the last sentence of it says, there shall be not less than 200 representatives. So remember, this is from scratch, right? This country, they just risked everything. We got nothing. What is America? Nothing. But yet they're creating all these rules for us to enjoy the prosperity that we have on our 250th anniversary today. So this is them projecting into what they thought might happen, that America's going to get bigger. There shall be no less than 200 representatives, nor less than 1 representative for every 50,000 persons. There it is. The intended first article passed by the House and the Senate, 13 states, I believe, at the time. I'll get to exactly what the states are in a second. But that was September 21st, 1789. On September 28th, 1789, one word got changed. So from the point that the House and the Senate, because how did ideas on national policy get shared back then? Like, homing pigeon, horse. They literally had a guy on a horseback, right? They didn't have these. So the guy took the piece of paper that that George Washington, James Madison, the House and the Senate passed on September 21st, 1789. Within a week, somehow, some way, when it got out to the states for ratification, that's the way our beloved country works, state sovereignty. Each of the states had to vote. They said yes to what was the 10 Bill of Rights. They didn't say yes to this one because one word got changed. In that last sentence, less became more. So what the House and George Washington and James Madison said is less than 1 representative for every 50,000. What got distributed to the states for ratification, it said nor more than 1 representative for every 50,000 persons. I do not know why or how this word got changed, but there is a historian. I've got his name. I believe he's still alive. There is a historian, an American history professor at not a huge school, but a school of note anyway, who found this discrepancy. This is the reason. Can you imagine a mathematical formula, less as opposed to more, is going to change the formula? So this is why the states got, wait, what is this? What are they asking for? somehow, some way, and this is going to be the source of a very good show. Eventually, we're going to have, it's called Trillions, a show that's going to show how the possibilities of how this one word got changed. Was it outright evil? Did someone want to see this American experiment fail? Did someone just take a little piece of whatever they wrote back then? How does the word less get changed to more? But it got changed in that 1 week period. That's when America began to disintegrate, such that we are still to this day with $39 trillion in debt, plus, plus, plus. That 1 week period from September 21st to September 28th in 1789. How did the word less versus more get changed in Article the First? In the end, who cares? Because it's our job to fix it today. We only need 27 more states. You know, it's 250 years later. We're still suffering from that wrong. Then we let the House of Representatives pass a law upon itself, capping it at 435 in complete violation of what James Madison and George Washington wanted. What is going on here, people? I mean, we're so busy. We got kids. We got a business. You got all the things you want to do in your life because we're so spoiled in America. We are so spoiled. This golden goose that I was born into, called America, happened to be in the town of Connecticut. That's an actual license plate, by the way, on a car that I had back in 1993. It says, Wahoo. What a gift of being born into this country. Certainly the state of Connecticut. I like Florida more now. But originally, we were born into this place to do what? Make it better than when we found it. Any man in America, you tell me how $39 trillion, you tell me what the federal debt was when you were born. I was born in 1965. It was in the billions. It was like 860 billion. What is going on? Why do we have 860 billion in debt? Thomas Jefferson said we're doing what if we allow our national government to take on debt? Swindling futurity. Why are you swindling futurity? You tell me you care about your children, you care about your kids' friends. I don't think it's true because you're not doing anything about swindling futurity, about at least stopping the $39 trillion in debt. Oh, there's nothing we can do about it. Wrong. We can pass the 28th Amendment now because George Washington and James Madison wanted it passed. So all we're doing is following the will of our founding fathers. We are changing the errant more versus less. For whatever reason, back in 1789, it happened. And it was in 1913, in fact, it was our 63rd Congress who capped it at 435. I would use an expletive, a bad word for these people. But again, this is a family-friendly show. You corrupt. Can I use SOBs? You corrupt SOBs. Why did you cap our House at 435 people? No, back in 1913, how did information get disseminated? Who knew? Did Americans vote? What happened? It was a lot like the inception of the Federal Reserve Bank. In silence, in quiet. No one knew about it. No one knew about our foreign, such that when we're born into America today, it just is what it is. 435 House members, right? That's just the way it is. No, it's not the way it was supposed to be. Yes, it's the way that it is. And we don't care about our golden goose. I don't know. I'd have a hard time saying how much I care about my children if I don't fix this biggest problem that America has, which is unlimited debt forever. We are debt slaves to these people, these politicians. You think AI is going to become our master? Our politicians are our masters. We are debt slaves. Wake up and take your sovereignty back, American. Let's get the 28th Amendment passed. Abraham Lincoln said in 1858, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Our House of Representatives is divided against itself, Republican, Democrat. Well, my colleague on the other side of the aisle, I hate when our politicians say that. My colleague on the other side of the aisle says There is no other side of the aisle. We are one people. We are made in God's image, and we are here to serve God in America. The reason this country was founded, our forefathers risked everything they had, and our forefathers and mothers risked everything they had to give me the right to sit in front of this microphone, look at this camera, and pray that this is being recorded properly. To get things done right, to fix problems. This is our biggest problem. We all know it, but it's so easy to ignore. We'll just sweep it under the carpet. It's some other generation's problem to fix, right? Our children will have to deal with it. I'm going to die, and probably this economy won't implode before I pass away. It's probably going to implode where my children, which I've got 3, or their children, man, it's not my problem. It is my problem. I don't love my children unless I fix this. There it is. You don't love your child unless you get the 28th Amendment passed. How's that? That's no joke. It's true. Today, we are out of control of our federal government, and it's a problem glaring in our faces, red light, that it's time to fix it now by getting the 28th Amendment ratified. So that was the original history. Let me just speak briefly to how I came across this. It's a wonderful book called A History of the American People. Paul Johnson. I don't know if Paul's still alive. But this is, I was reading this, I don't know what year we lived in Wisconsin. This is before we created AP76. But this is on page 197. By agreeing to let each state send 2 senators to Congress, the Founding Fathers built states' rights into the representational process. The House, on the other hand, was to represent the people. And it was agreed that each state was to have at least 1 congressman and not to exceed 1 for every 30,000 persons. There it is in the Constitution. Sure enough. In parentheses, excluding Indians not paying taxes and allowing for 3/5 rule for slaves. That's beyond my pay grade. Back then, anyway, the intent of the Constitution was 1 for 30. It is in the Constitution, but we never ratified Article the 1st. But this is how I first learned about it. And then Mr. Johnson, bless his soul, never says anything else about. So when I read this, I'm like, wait a second, that's not how we do it. We got 435. We're capped just like the Senate at 100. What? This is not what they said. So eventually I started researching it. And to this day, it has not been enacted. I wish someone else would enact it. I wish I didn't have to spend time on this or AP76 or the wonderful people that are involved, but no one is doing it. Our politicians won't do it. I can guarantee you that, because if they were, they would have done it decades ago. They would do it today. Which member of the House of Representatives, hey, let's give them the Senate too. Which senator or member in the House of Representatives is saying go back and read the will of James Madison and George Washington? Which one is saying reduce our debt? Which one cares to get the 20th Amendment ratified so that we run this country for the first time ever the way our founding fathers intended? Which one? None. Zero. Not even Thomas Massey. So we, the people, are here to fix the problem that never got enacted. Less versus more. Why did that? Who cares why it got changed? It got changed. That's the reason the states were confused. That's the reason that it did not have the sufficient number of states to get it passed, to get it ratified. Now, there were states, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, there were states that ratified it anyway. You know, it kind of says, wait, were our politicians paying attention? But the states that did ratify it, the first one to ratify it was December 19th, 1789. It was Maryland. Thank you, Maryland. North Carolina, December 22nd. South Carolina, January 19th. New Jersey, Virginia, New Hampshire, New York. Hear that, Commie Mom Donnie? Yes. New York actually voted to ratify Article the 1st on March 27th, 1790. Rhode Island, May 2nd, 1790. Pennsylvania, September 25th. Vermont, November 4th, 1791. And then, surprisingly, Kentucky has also ratified it already. So this is why we don't need a constitutional convention. This has already been ratified by the House and the Senate. We simply need 27 more states. So we're creating little AI agents to go out and attack. And with the help of great people like Jesse over at Market Rhythm and Larry, the founder, and freedom-loving Americans, we are going to spoon feed each state with the truth so that the 27 more states add to the 13 who have already ratified it. Isn't that great? These 13 states have already ratified this thing. It's already done. We just need to get it enacted to the chagrin of our current House of Representatives. As we identified in a previous broadcast, do any of them want this enacted? Does Brian Mast here in Florida want, hey, Brian Mast, why don't you go get Article the First enacted? Or better yet, let's you and I have a debate. Let's any politician, any senator, Trump, let's have a debate. Trump, why aren't you calling for the 28th Amendment to be passed and ratified right now? Come on stage. How about your kids? I'll take all your kids on at the same time on a debate stage. 10 of you versus me. I don't care. This is truth. 1 + 1 is the side to be on because it equals 2. That is what we're dealing with. 1 + 1 does. Don't believe any politician. Don't believe any corptocratic shill that it's intended our House is 435. Yeah, let's debate why and how 435 came about. Why it is factually against the will of George Washington and James Madison. And why it creates so many problems. Why it is the #1 thing we can do in our country to fix the problem. We all know there's problems in this country, America. We know the good that we can bring out to other places, in our communities and other countries around the world. There are actual starving people in bad situations. And look at us. We're so spoiled in this country. How can we live the way we live on $39 trillion in debt? How many billions were stolen from our government in Minnesota and California and New Jersey? Probably here in Florida. We seem to be a little bit better at presenting political fraud here in Florida, but I'm not sure. DeSantis is no saint. But we let all of this happen. You know what $1 billion could do for someone in Nigeria? Or someone in Lesotho? Or probably pronounce that country. Or the countries we've never even heard of? $1 billion we could have sent out to people. And yes, there's corruption there too, but we could put the proper controls on it. Billions of dollars we are wasting. We are wasting billions of dollars when it could help people around the world and in our country. So that's what we're here to do, is to get the 28th Amendment ratified to stop swindling futurity and eventually get to what I pray will be a radcast, which is a way to use music to communicate this message, to capture people with it, to enjoy music, just the love of music, great music, to get the 28th Amendment passed. The radcast will be in place soon. For now, I just got to sit in front of a microphone. It's the second best, but we're doing what we can to get this amendment passed now. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for your interest. The AP76 website should be live any day. Thank you, Sven, and the awesome people at the free website, guys. We are going to do our best in execution for what has already happened. This is already done. It's a done deal. It's like our beloved Lord and Savior Jesus Christ said, it is finished. The 28th Amendment, it's already done. Let's just connect the dots, people. Let's call these political clowns out for what they are. Political clowns. And let's move on to the bigger, better prosperity that our founding fathers intended. Bless you. Bye.